Now, Labour moved today to try to distance itself from the politically damaging charge that it is soft on welfare claimants. It's now suggesting the long-term unemployed should have to take up work or training or lose their benefits. The party says it will come as a culture shock to some, but how much does getting tough have to do with next week's vote in the Commons, when Labour will oppose welfare cuts? Our social affairs editor, Jackie Long, reports.
Walking tall, Francis Kohler has just found a new job and couldn't be more delighted. He's been out of work for 2 years. Under Labour's plans, he'd have been forced to take any job. For him, no one should need that much persuading.
You have to work. It's actually a crime not to work from my own perspective. If you've got your hands and you've got a head on your neck, you've got to work and make a living and support, yourself and others.
Got an interview today.
Encouraging noises from the Shadow Chancellor on his tour of a job centre in East London this morning. But their latest jobs proposal would see those on job seekers' allowance for 2 years having to take any job offered to them for just the minimum wage or lose their benefits.
We think the priority now, when the welfare bill is rising, when the economy is not working, and when people are in unemployment, get people back to work. It's the right thing to do now. That's what we mean by a welfare reform, which is tough, fair and would work.
Labour is set to oppose a government plan to cap benefit rises in the Commons on Tuesday. So the timing of today's announcement is no surprise. They need to show that they're not soft on welfare. Talking tough on benefits plays well with the voters. The Tories have taught them that much. Public opinion is receptive to the government argument on welfare. Presented with the statement, the government pays out too much in benefits, welfare levels overall should be reduced, nearly 3/4 of the population agreed. Even among Labour voters, a clear majority backed that view. Barman David Ball pulls pints in a working men's club in southwest London. It's an ever-shrinking clientele. A long-time Labour supporter, he spent 35 years as a dustman. But how do plans to force people into work go down here at a time when not everyone can find a job?
Why are they getting money for nothing? Not working. I've had to work all my life.
I mean, your son's unemployed. What if this happened to him, if you like? He was forced to get a job or lose his benefits.
They just have to do it.
So he'd have to lump it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't want to be a dustman first of all, but I didn't have much of a choice.
It's not a life choice. People don't choose to be on benefits. I think most people these days, if they had a choice, they'd choose to be working and earn their own money.
So I don't exactly want to be pulling pints all the time I'm not on great money myself, So it annoys me that sometimes people do get more money than me doing nothing. So yeah, it is quite annoying.
So the political imperative is easy to see, but does it make sense financially? Labour say it'll cost $1 billion and be funded by cutting tax relief on pension contributions. The government argue that's money they've already pledged to spend elsewhere. The real test, perhaps, will it create long-term work for people? The evidence for that is not yet clear.
Well, I've been speaking to the Shadow Chancellor, Ed Balls, and I began by asking him what sorts of jobs people will be expected to take under his plan.
There'll be minimum wage jobs, we think predominantly in the private sector, although there could be a voluntary sector option as well. They're jobs which give people the chance to then go on to get more training, to get more long-term jobs for the future. All the evidence is that being in unemployment for long periods of time is very bad for your future job prospects. Getting somebody back into work is the best way to get them paying tax, to get the bills of welfare down.
But so you do think people are work shy?
Look, I think there will be always some people, the rich avoiding tax, people trying to avoid working on benefits. There's always going to be some people playing the system. I think the vast majority of people want work, are looking for work, who are unemployed and need help to get work.
But then why do you want to force them to take jobs that they wouldn't normally consider, that will be minimum wage, lowly jobs? I mean, you could have somebody in their 50s, made redundant from quite a senior job that you're now going to force to stack shelves or something.
Well, I think it's fair to say to the taxpayer that there's no option of simply being on benefits year after year after year, which means that the small minority who are playing the system can't do so. But I also think it's fair to people who want work and are looking for work to say, we'll give you an extra help. We will help you with an extra subsidy to a private employer to take you on a minimum wage job, which is the best route into better work for the future. All the evidence is that is the best way to help people. And look, I'm not playing the Tory game of smearing everybody who's out of work as work shy, as in bed, behind blinds, drunk. I think that the language from George Osborne has frankly been nasty and outrageous.
But you're trying to sound pretty tough too by saying we'll force them into these jobs and we'll take their benefits away if they don't take them. So you're sort of playing the same game, and you have to wonder whether this is actually because next week you're going to vote against the government's plan to make people on benefits have the same rise as people who work in the public sector.
Well, let's come to the vote in a second. But first of all, yes, it's tough. People want things to be tough, but they want it to be tough and fair and to work. The government uses nasty language about the unemployed, but they've got no proper work programme. The work programme is failing. There's no guarantee to get a job. That's why long-term unemployment is going up. People are being left to languish. We're repeating the mistakes of the 1980s. I'm saying for the vast majority looking for the work, we're going to help with a guarantee. For the small minority playing the system, we will be tough about their responsibility to take work. Most people would say that's fair. The other reason why, though, I'm offended by the government, they're giving the impression with this language, with the vote next Tuesday, that all the people who are going to see their tax credits and their benefits cut are out of work and scroungers. The fact is, 2/3 of people hit by this are in work.
We're seeing some very bad service sector figures in the economy for the end of last year. Do you think Britain is heading for another recession?
I think it's not the most likely outcome, but it's a real possibility, and a risk-averse Chancellor should act now to prevent a triple-dip recession. And I just see more of the same from the Chancellor, who 2 years ago told us the economy was safe, and then we had another recession. So it's a real concern, and I think the Chancellor should act.